That's the role the king played. But he wasn't the central authority. He mediated disputes. If I stole sheep from you, or I stole cows from you, or I killed deer on your land. And the great thing about the Brehan laws was, hey, how are we doing? It's Alan here, and I want to talk about the Brehan laws. The Brehan laws, what were they? Well, Ireland had a really, really interesting legal system. This was from the Celtic times. A little bit after Celtic times, but the Celts were the people who kind of built this in. Where there was no central authority in the Brehan laws. There was no central authority. There was a king and there was high kings. The king's role was more like the role eBay would play today. Where if I order something from you on eBay and I don't get it, eBay will be the intermediary to make sure that I either get what I ordered or I get my money back, or it sorts out the dispute between us. If I order a iPhone and I get an iPhone box, no iPhone in it, and I can take pictures and show eBay, and eBay will sort that out for me. That's the role the king played. But he wasn't the central authority. He mediated disputes. If I stole sheep from you, or I stole cows from you, or I killed deer on your land. And the great thing about the Brehan laws was that they were mostly verbal laws. There was some stuff written down in old Gaelic language, but it was mostly verbal laws that they would teach through generations. And there was no central authority that wrote laws. This is really important. There was no central authority that wrote laws. The law was, if we acted a certain way for a certain amount of time, and that became, over the generations, that became law. Now, what was really important was the land that I was on was my land, and all the fruits of that land would come to me. Now, this can apply today, as in your creation, whatever your creation is, belongs to you. And all the fruits of that creation go to you. So, this can be for a video you're doing online, it can be for music you're creating, whatever you create, whatever beautiful thing you create, the fruits of that go to you. And if I infringe on that in any way, then I owe compensation to you. Like, for example, I'll give you an example from Brehan law. And this is really interesting. If I have bees, so all of your land, including the flowers, any food grown, and even the nectar on the flowers, belong to you. So if I get bees, if I keep bees, and I'm getting honey from those bees, well, the bees go to your land. They're just going to go to your land to collect the nectar from your flowers. Now, how the Brehan laws dealt with that, which is really interesting, because when you think about it today, what happens if you have a home, and next to your home, a company sets up next to your home, and there's pollution going to your home and affecting you, or the passive smoking thing. How do you deal with that in law? Well, the way the Brehan laws dealt with it was that if I had bees and the bees went to your land to collect the nectar, then at the end of the year, I have to give you some of the honey that I collected every year. Every year I give you some of the honey if they're going to your land to collect the pollen. Now, after 5 years and my hive has grown to a certain point, I give you a hive of bees. I have a spare hive of bees, I give it to you. And then both of our bees are going to both of our lands, so we don't have that problem anymore. But I have built my connection with you as my neighbour. As my neighbour, our connection has grown. Because I have kept bees. I've also given you bees. I've given you honey every year. And I've also probably shown you how to keep bees and how to deal with them. So our connection of grown have helped you from me just living beside you. The fact that I live beside you or close to you has helped your life. And that's how the Brehan law worked. So after 5 years, I would give you a hive of bees and you would keep bees then too. And, or, obviously I'm not going to force you if you don't want bees, or if we're not really interested in bees, I'm not going to force it on you, but I might bring you over some honey, but there will be restitution in some way. And exactly the same thing can happen now. Because it still applies to digital. And so this, all this happening, obviously if there's cows up, you can keep them on your land so you're not affecting other people. But, maybe it is affecting other people in other ways. So you pay compensation or you help out your neighbours. You basically just help out your neighbours, but there's some structure around how you're helping them out. So you have some structure. So, and it builds our connection. So our connection every year, I'm dropping around to you, I'm talking to you, I'm conversing with you, we're having a conversation, and I'm helping you out. So our connection is constantly growing. Constantly growing. And the exact same, but you might say, well, we're in a digital age now, everything's different. It's not. It still applies. And I don't need a central authority to tell me that if I'm in a 30 zone and I'm driving 40 and I haven't hurt, no one's been hurt or injured, and, I get a ticket and I pay some central authority. The Brehan laws never had any central authority. There was no, the idea of paying a central authority or going to a court for some sort of central authority would have been like, they wouldn't have understood what you're trying to talk about. But why would you do that? There's no one has been hurt or injured. So basically, Brehan laws it's very similar to English common law, whereas you do not hurt or injure other people. And you obviously killing them, killing, rape, all that kind of stuff is injuring. So you do not do that. If you do it, you pay compensation. You make it whole. So that's the Brehan laws. They're really, really, really beautiful thing that was in Ireland. And what everyone's saying now, I'm hearing everyone saying, it's growing, it's growing, it's growing. Bring back Brehan. Bring back Brehan. Everyone wants bring back Brehan. It's a beautiful thing. The Brehan laws. Bring back Brehan. It's been Alan here from Look for Warriors. I want to talk just 5 minutes about the Brehan laws.